I'm very pleased to invite to speak next Brett Gordon, who we've known for a long time, is heads up the whole partner ecosystem here in Australia. He's from New Jersey originally. You'll hear his accent, but based in Sydney. But they are an incredible partner for us, Microsoft. The partnership is getting deeper, and we're working closer than ever. So over to you, Brett.
Thank you, Carl, and thank you to the entire LiveTiles team. And you might hear the accent even after 20 years. I've been trying to shake it a little bit, but struggling a little bit. So it's still here. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you're in. But yeah, just want to say thank you for the opportunity here to present today. My name is Brett Gordon, and I get the privilege to work with some of the most incredible startups and software companies that are creating new products, business models, both locally in Australia and around the world. For the past 12 years, I've spent time working across a variety of roles at Microsoft, but really the place where I get most of my energy from is helping our partners build successful businesses, creating amazing products, and helping them grow globally. One of the reasons I'm so passionate about this space is that prior to joining Microsoft, I had my own systems integration business. It was focused on mobile solutions, mobile device management. Way back then, in those days, it was really just having a lot of people unboxing mobile devices, updating everything manually, entering lines of code, installing apps. There wasn't even an iPhone back then, so times have changed. But when I reflect on that time, it was one of the most proud moments when my company got featured on basically the Windows Mobile homepage. If anybody remembers Windows Mobile, we actually had 30% market share at one point in the mobile business, but that was certainly a while ago. And when I didn't realize, I guess at the time, was that it was just being linked to the power of the Microsoft homepage, search engine optimization. All of a sudden, leads just started pouring in. And that was really just because I was connected to a very heavily trafficked web page around the world. Look, the reason I'm sharing that story is because I accidentally got connected into the Microsoft partner ecosystem and built a business around it, and then sold it a few years later. Those days, the channel has evolved to incentivize, or nowadays to incentivize our own field sellers to not only sell our own products like Office 365, Teams, Azure, but also solutions from partners like LiveTiles that are creating amazing repeatable IP that we can go to market with. So today, what I wanted to do is give you a short overview of the Microsoft channel, why people would partner with Microsoft, and cover off just a couple questions that I typically get asked about LiveTiles. So before I get into that, let's see if I can move this on. I'm going to throw up some numbers. So I want to get some audience interaction here. Who can tell me what these numbers are? So I'll give everybody a couple seconds to put something in the chat, but think of it as scale. If you want to have a crack, just throw it in the chat, and Carl will announce you as a winner later on. So to give you some perspective on how big our channel is, 95% of all of our revenue comes through the partner channel. It is a massive, massive channel. Out of that, we are always been a very much a partner-led organization. Even when Bill Gates had this dream of putting a PC on every desk in every home, all led through partner. The 300,000 number there, that's the number of partners that we have globally in the Microsoft ecosystem. And the 17 million is the number that we have of employees that work within that ecosystem. So it's a massive opportunity if you can tap into it. And LiveTiles have. So how do you actually crack into that? Well, we have a program called co-selling. And when I think about co-selling, it's really about the ability to work with a partner and a customer to sell a product and a service. And think of it this way, like you might have a Microsoft field seller. They have a strong relationship with Deakin University. They may also be aware that the customer has just deployed Microsoft Teams to the university staff, and that they're looking for a communications tool that would allow them to get information out quickly to the university staff, as well as anyone that works on the university, like cleaning staff or cafeteria. They might not even be directly employed by the university. So they know that LiveTiles has a purpose-built solution called Reach, plugs directly into Teams. The Microsoft seller are able to log this in a tool called Partner Center and automatically sends off a workflow to the LiveTiles team to meet with the Microsoft team to discuss how they can actually help the university solve their problem faster. So not only that, we have that collaboration tool to bring the teams together, but we also have incentives to pay our Microsoft field sellers. So Very different Microsoft than a while years ago, but we pay our field sellers 10% of the annual contract value to sell a LiveTile solution because it runs on Azure. They've gone through a certification process. It's up on the marketplace. Our modern workplace teams have KPIs on getting people more engaged with the Teams platform, and LiveTiles applications do these things. So before I go on, I just want to make sure that everybody understands some of the lingo that we've actually been using. What is an ISV, or what we refer to as an independent software vendor? So it's really an industry term. It's been around for quite some time. But basically what it means is if it's repeatable and requires little customization, then we call it an ISV. You might be familiar with some of the large ISVs, the global, some of the ones that like a Citrix or Adobe. On the consumer side, you might even think about like a Spotify or Netflix. It's basically an app that you can pay for a service or a license for. And in our case, LiveTiles, perfect example, running things like LiveTiles Vibe, Reach, Everywhere, Internet. It simply just gets deployed to the users in a matter of either minutes, hours, days, but certainly not months. Requires very little integration. So why are ISVs important? Let me just flip the slide here. So ISVs are important because they really align to the key Microsoft priorities. We're very focused on Azure, a cloud platform, modern workplace, which is Windows, Office 365, and Teams, and security and business applications, which is really Dynamics 365. So the example I'll use is really around cloud computing. If you think of the cloud as pipes, we want people to consume Azure faster. ISVs build their applications on Azure and it starts spinning the meters and basically turning on the taps. So if we help our partners build great products on Azure, and then we help market them on Azure, and then we help them sell, their solutions, it's really a win-win situation. And the numbers really just prove that. We know that the products are almost 6 times bigger when we have ISV partners that are involved. Customers on Azure are 8 times. The consumption is 8 times greater, and the deals just get closed faster, so 3.5 times faster. So to put that into perspective on some of the numbers, over the past 3 years, and since we started this program, we've had $15.6 billion, $15.6 billion of annual contract value flow through this program. We've seen the number of opportunities and collaboration between our partners grow 51%. Deal velocity, as I mentioned before, is 3.5 times faster. And then we've also introduced what we consider our enterprise marketplace. So we have direct web engagement or direct web stores. You think about things like Azure Marketplace or AppSource. So to take it one step further, to take a look at the 4 different channels that we actually have here. These are the 4 sales plays. And if you look at the bottom, you'll see that there's 1,500 field sellers that focus on our top 12,000 enterprise customers around the globe. You can then see that we have another segment of direct engagement that we have over 40,000 corporate accounts. The next opportunity to tap into is what I mentioned before, those 300,000 partners in the ecosystem. We provide a platform that allows our partners to sell through our partner network and get incentivized too. And then there's marketplace on top of that, which is really the future of the company, and being able to sort of collect money while you sleep. Marketplace is our enterprise app store. Customers go to and purchase both first-party Microsoft products, but then they can also purchase products like LiveTiles, and they have the ability to list them there. So there's compelling opportunities to sell with Microsoft across marketplace, partner-to-partner engagements, cloud solution provider program, as well as opportunities to sell with Microsoft inside sellers and field sellers. So there's a lot of opportunities here where Microsoft can add value to the portfolio and help launch into new markets. And we've worked regularly with LiveTiles through our geo expansion program. So what I wanted to do now was pivot a little bit and talk a little bit about, what makes LiveTiles different. I get some of these questions quite regularly. LiveTiles is unique. First and foremost, it's their culture. Not many people are kicking off their conferences with Mark Matthews sharing stories around resilience, big wave surfing. They have an incredible leadership team and genuinely want to help people and companies achieve more. How many companies have, get X done, written into their core values and beliefs? And it really shows in how they go to market, how they work with our customers, our joint customers, how they solve technical problems, working directly with our engineering, either locally or in out of our headquarters in Redmond. Personally, I've been working with LiveTiles team for over 3 years, and that philosophy shows up every day. They're willing to take on new risks and new projects. For example, a few years ago, LiveTiles were really pushing the boundaries of Lewis and our botnet framework. The problem they were trying to solve for actually is kind of a funny one, but working with some a large multinational airline, and people were trying to take prohibitive animals on the plane, so they were sort of classifying as helper animals. And the only issue that well, the big issue was that people were calling peacocks dogs, tigers were being called kittens, and they were trying to sneak them on these planes. So the airline needed a fast way to look up each one of them, the actuals, with their photos. And as a way to solve the issue, we were working with our bot team in our headquarters in Redmond. And LiveTiles are really pushing the boundaries on some of the natural language queries. We're able to speak directly to Microsoft core engineering team in Redmond and the product group. This led to regular cadences with our engineering group, and collaboration with the different points of not only LiveTiles who have an office in Redmond, based in collaboration with Hobart, as well as some of their European offices. And it led to meetings with some of the corporate VPs, so we can get a direction of where the corporate VP of AI, so we can actually get a direction of where we're headed. As a result, Microsoft invited LiveTiles to be part of the partner advisory council around cognitive services. This gave LiveTiles the insight on where to build, how to leverage existing products that Microsoft are releasing. The same goes for the other products like SharePoint and Teams. If you're pushing the boundaries of our products, we want our partners and customers' feedback. By working closely with the engineering teams, they know where to focus their efforts and understand what Microsoft is thinking and how to pivot as they start thinking about the future. So as I mentioned before, the LiveTiles product team go through an IP COSO certification process that enables our field team to get paid up to 10% of the annual contract value. So there's very much incentive for our field or our partners to go and work together. This one, the next question I get, I kind of snicker at a little bit when, is LiveTiles a competitor or an enabler? As I mentioned before, we are such a partner-led organization. They are without a doubt an enabler and a very complementary to our existing products. Microsoft make core platforms. We depend on our partners to create purpose-built industry and vertical solutions that our customers are looking for. LiveTiles are in a unique position to help Microsoft teams be more sticky by putting Teams or Vibe directly into the Microsoft Teams store. And this really does two things. It increases user engagement when they start using the app. It also keeps them in Teams, where there's over 115 million people and they do their collaboration for work. It also provides a lower barrier to entry if a customer wants to trial or deploy the application. All they have to do is grab it from the Teams store. The customer may even be able to transact the LiveTiles purchase on Microsoft Paperwork through the marketplace. And if you think about that, how much that can actually speed up procurement cycles. Anybody that's actually tried to sell into a large organization or a government agency, half the battle is actually trying to get onto those procurement panels. LiveTiles has already built that ability into their application so they can transact on Microsoft Paperwork. I hope that gives you an understanding, or very quick understanding, of the breadth of the Microsoft channel and how we work with some of our partners, in particular LiveTiles. But certainly, if you have additional questions, please feel free to reach out to me, connect on LinkedIn, connect with the LiveTiles team. And with that, I just want to say thank you very much for your time, and please enjoy the rest of the Love Your Work conference. Look forward to hearing the bands later. See ya.
Great. Well, thanks, Brett, for that. Very insightful. And interestingly enough, even though we've got investors